about some fun stuff. We're going to talk about the Kylie metallic lipsticks, or they're called metal matte lipsticks. So I have all three shades. These are the three shades that she has right now. I'm going to go over every single one of them. I'm going to swatch them for you guys on my arm, show you how they look in regular daylight as well as with like a flash picture. And then also I'm going to go try to find you guys some dupes. I know I personally do not own any that look like this, but I am going to go try to find some right now. And if I do, I will include them at the very end of the video. Yeah, let's get started and talk about all the details and all that good stuff. I have my phone right here because according to the site, I'm gonna tell you guys what they claim to do. So it says it's a liquid lipstick meets metallic. It says that it provides a saturated laydown of incandescent pearls with a creamy demi-matte finish. So I would definitely agree with that. A few more details about them. They retail for $18 each, and that is for the lipstick by itself. It doesn't come with the lip liner or anything like the Kylie lip kit does. So it is fairly reasonably priced. It's not too pricey, but it's also definitely not super affordable. So that being said, I am going to review each one individually. I don't want to ramble on too much, so hopefully I just get to the point and you guys can just see how it applies and all that good stuff. As far as buying them, they are sold out right now. You do just have to be aware of whenever they go on sale. I bought them like right on the dot, right when they went on sale, which is how I got my hands on all three of them. So I'm gonna start with the lightest one of the collection, which is Heir. It's H-E-I-R, that kind of Heir. This is the lightest one. It's a very peachy kind of color. You guys can see even through the tube, it does have those little incandescent pearls that it claims to have. So the reason I want to review them separately is because as soon as you apply this one's actually the streakiest one out of all of them. So you guys can see that the first swipe on the lips did not go on super opaque whatsoever. I really had high hopes for it and I thought it would go on like a bright, just a very opaque color, because when you swatch it on your arm, you do get a totally different lipstick. Basically, it looks like a different color than what you get when you put it on your lips. For some reason, at least on my lips, whenever I applied it, it was very streaky and it got even a little patchy, and it just wasn't anything that I expected. I was really let down by it, and because of that, I thought that the other two were probably going to be similar and we're gonna have the same effect, and I just wasn't going to be a fan of all of these. So you guys can see I did go ahead and I layered it on like 3 times. It definitely looked a lot better after layering it on, but it still wasn't anything that I'd be like, yes, go buy it. This was by far my least favorite, but I didn't want to throw it out or just like toss it aside and never use it again. So because of that, I figured I can try it with her lip kit. So I did go ahead and try it with Kandy K. They're not too similar in color, but I just wanted to try it with one of her liquid lipsticks, and this is the one that I had on hand. This is definitely a lot more pink, and this is a lot more like gold peachy color. So I layered this on top. It definitely stood out a lot more, but it still wasn't anything crazy, and it still isn't something that I would say go buy, at least in my opinion. This was definitely my least favorite, like I said, and it was a letdown. So yeah, that's my little mini review on Heir. If you guys have any recommendations of how to apply it so that it looks as bold as it does in the tube, let me know in the comments down below. But for me, this did not work out. Moving along to King K, this was a totally different story. That's what I'm wearing on my lips right now, and you guys can see it is definitely a lot more bold. It might have to be with the fact that it's a darker color, and this one, Heir, was a lot lighter, and it is the lightest color. So because this one's darker, it definitely went on a lot more opaque. I still got that streakiness as soon as I applied it, but I have found after applying it a few times and trying to like mess with it and see what works best, I find that layering on one layer first and then letting that kind of dry a little bit and then going over that with another layer the second time does the trick, and it stays so much better. And also, you guys can see as I was applying it, I would rub my lips together, because that's usually what I do with lipsticks, is I rub my lips together so that they can like evenly spread out. But with this, I find that rubbing your lips together does not do it any good. It works a lot better if you just apply it and then literally just let it dry. Don't rub your lips together, and it'll stay like super bold the way you guys see on my lips right now. So to explain in a little more detail like the consistency of it, it does feel like that demi-matte finish that it speaks of, but it's definitely not like a super matte. If you put your lips on your hand, it will transfer, and it's not a drying feeling whatsoever. It feels really comfortable, but it does crumble up a tiny bit on like the outer corners of your lips. A lot of lipsticks do that, but I just thought I would mention that to you guys. So that being said, jumping into the last one, this is the color Rain. This is the darkest color, and it is like a reddish plum, deep burgundy, pearlescent kind of goldish shimmer. Does that even make sense? But you guys can see it's such a pretty color. And this one was also not a bust like the first one. As soon as you apply it, this one is a little more difficult than this gold one to apply. You guys can see it is also kind of streaky, but once again, like I said, I found that if you apply one layer and then let that dry a little bit and then go in with your second layer, it will work a lot better. First application was definitely a lot more streaky and I was a little disappointed with that. It doesn't go on super easily as I wished and hoped that they would, but once you get the hang of it and mess with them a little bit, they do have that crazy color that you're looking for in a metallic lipstick. So that is my overview on all of the colors. This one I feel like is actually the most wearable because when you apply it, the like shimmer and pearlescent color doesn't stick out so much, or it doesn't like, it's not like bam in your face, as opposed to like this color is kind of more bam in your face because it's such like a gold color. This one I feel like you can pull off, and then in like different lights it might look super cool. It might be something to consider. Maybe you do want that bam in your face color like this. I still feel like this is super beautiful, but it is just more wearable in my opinion. So I love this as well, and I am glad that I bought it. But yeah, that wraps up my entire review on these. I hope I covered everything and just basically like the proof is in the pudding. You guys can just see when I'm applying it, how it applies, all that good stuff, and then everything that I mentioned, just take those little tips and use them however you would want. I am going to jump into all of the dupes that I found, so hopefully you guys enjoy that. If you couldn't get your hands on these, then you can get your hands on something quite similar, so make sure you guys check that out. So let's jump into that.
So the first color that I found to be the most similar to Kylie's Heir is this Anastasia liquid lipstick. I know it doesn't have that metallic shade, but it is a very similar color. And then this second dupe isn't a very similar color, but it has that effect. The metallic shade, Anastasia's is a lot more gold, while Kylie's has a lot more brown in it. And then lastly, ColourPop's Tulle and Makeup Geek's Grandstand shadow combo I found gives it that like pearlescent color. This color is a lot more red, but adding the shadow over it kind of tones it down and makes it look somewhat similar, especially in different lightings. You can kind of see that pearlescent effect that I think looks super cool. And then two other colors that are somewhat similar are Lolita and ColourPop's Beeper. This first one is Lolita. You guys can see it's a similar color, and then ColourPop's Beeper is the lightest of all the shades. So while these are not exact dupes, I felt like they were in the same color family, so I wanted to share them with you guys.
I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys did, make sure you guys give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed already. Follow me on my Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, all that stuff. It's always linked down below. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.